This is my second video update for this Wednesday, coming to you from Nicosia, Cyprus. And I am right now at the Armenian, there's an Armenian church here, and there's also the Armenian school as well. I believe this is St. Mary's right here. You'll see it in the background. One sec. There we go. So we'll walk over to the front. Unfortunately, I can't enter, but Cyprus has a very large Armenian population, actually, and this is a really nice church. It's a beautiful church right here. But let's talk about some news. And in my morning update, I made an error where I said that Shoigu said that the partial mobilization of reservists, the 300,000 number, was 1 to 1.5%. I said of 2.5 million. It's actually 25 million. So I caught that when I was editing the video, and I put a screen grab up on the video as I was editing it, but I misread the actual number. I read it as 2.5 million. 25 million is the correct number. So very much like Zelensky, my math is also pretty bad. 1% of 2.5 million. Anyway, that's just one correction. It's a small correction, and I caught it during post-production, but I figured I might as well clarify that in this video as well. Let's talk about some news since the announcement of the partial mobilization. We have China. China has actually come out with a statement, and it's pretty fast. China was one of the first countries to come out and give their thoughts with regards to the announcement of the special military operation. And to be honest, China kind of kept the same line that they've been keeping throughout this conflict, which is they're urging both sides to come to the negotiating table. China's position that the parties involved in the security crisis should exercise restraint and seek a mutually acceptable solution has been consistent and clear, said Wang Wenbin, a spokesman for the Chinese Foreign Ministry, told journalists during a daily briefing on Wednesday, as quoted by news agencies. So China was obviously consulted during the SCO summit, as all of the nations that were in attendance in Uzbekistan, I'm sure, were consulted with regards to Russia's plan, or most of the nations, definitely China and India, I'm sure Iran, Turkey as well, given some of the statements that Erdogan has made in a recent interview with PBS. But China being perhaps the most important country that Russia has to coordinate with, the fact that they're coming out with a statement so quickly, and the fact that their statement is pretty much in line with just about every statement they've made since the beginning of the special military operation, I think is proof to the point that when Putin spoke about all of this with Xi Jinping, I'm sure that China said, "We understand. You tried to find a solution throughout these 6 months and throughout these 8 years. You have to do what you have to do. It's not going to stop our cooperation in everything else that we're doing." I'm sure that was pretty much the response that he got from China. And this statement from the Chinese Foreign Ministry is proof to the point that China's fully behind Russia, and they're still going to be a partner of Russia. So they're not condemning Russia's actions. You'll notice they're not saying that Russia has crossed the red line. They're not saying that Russia has to not escalate. They're not saying anything like that. They're not saying that China's going to stop supporting Russia. None of that stuff. They're saying what they've always said: get to the negotiating table. There must be a solution to this a diplomatic solution to this issue, where both sides' security guarantees can be met. That was pretty much a statement from China. Now, from the rest of the collective West, I haven't heard anything yet, to be quite honest. It's afternoon here, so I imagine the White House is going to probably come out with a comment soon. Much of Europe, they're pretty much just harping on the referendum. Last I checked, I'm sure they're going to come out with comments as well once they coordinate with Bidenopoulos, Greece's favorite son, the Bidenopoulos White House. Once they coordinate what to say and they're given their script, I'm sure we're going to hear Olaf Scholz and Macron and Ursula von der Crazy. I'm sure they're all going to come out and they're going to use pretty much the same language, because yesterday the script that the collective West was given with regards to the announcement of the referendums was sham referendums. NATO's response was, we're not going to take these sham referendums seriously. France's response was, this is a sham referendum. Germany said, this is a sham referendum. That's what Scholz said. Every country in the collective West, Trudeau, they all kind of labeled this a sham referendum. So that was their talking point. You know, they got the facts sent over to them, or the email if some of these leaders know how to use emails. But they got the script delivered to them, and the script said, you are going to talk about sham referendum. That's the marketing, branding words that we're going to put to the referendum. So I imagine that they're all waiting for their marching orders from the scriptwriters in DC and in London. And I'm sure it's going to be, we condemn Russia's escalation. Russia is escalating towards World War III, or Russia's escalating towards a nuclear disaster or something like that. They're going to try to flip the script. They're going to say, oh my God, Russia is escalating all of a sudden, as if they did no escalation. They weren't escalating at all, right? They weren't escalating in Ukraine whatsoever. And now they're going to turn the tables and they're going to say that Russia is escalating. I'm 1,000% positive it's going to be something along those lines. A dangerous escalation from Putin. Putin is escalating to the point of a nuclear disaster, to a point of World War III. It's going to be something like that. And we'll find out. We'll find out later on today what the talking point is going to be for the collective West with regards to this partial mobilization. Now, this partial mobilization, I mean, the Russian government needs to be, the Kremlin, and I'm sure they need to be aware of the marketing and the soft power that's going to be directed their way. So they have to be aware of the soft power campaign that's going to be directed their way. They have to be aware that the collective West is going to try to use this partial mobilization to try to get some countries on side. You know, countries that are supportive of Russia, Turkey, India, China. They may try again with China. They're going to try with various countries to once again get them to move away from Russia and to come over to the collective West column. And they also have to be, the Kremlin has to be aware that the collective West is going to also continue to try and poke around at creating second fronts. You know, they're not going to stop they're not going to stop looking for a way to distract Russia from what they're doing in Ukraine and to try and bog Russia down in other areas. For example, Armenia, Azerbaijan, they're going to continue to poke around there. Georgia, Moldova, Serbia. Serbian President Vučić, he came out with statements pretty much saying, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but he was pretty much saying that we're reaching World War III danger levels, you know, red alert. This is very dangerous stuff. And we also have NATO. NATO came out with statements with regards to Kosovo, Metohija, just yesterday or 2 days ago. NATO said that that should tensions begin to rise in Kosovo, Metohija, then NATO is ready to call up reserves. An interesting choice of words. They're ready to call up reserves in order to keep the status quo in Kosovo and Metohija. Interesting timing in that statement from NATO. An interesting choice of words. It goes back to the point I was making earlier in the day, in the morning, during my first video, where I said that that during times of emergencies, and in the situation that Russia finds itself in, or any country finds itself in some sort of emergency situation or some sort of military conflict, it's not uncommon at all for that country to call up reservists. This should not be looked at as something, out of the ordinary. 300,000 reservists, as I said in my morning update. These could be people that are, once they're trained, they could be going to the front lines. But you could be also looking at a lot of these people who have special skills. Both Putin and Shoigu, they stressed the fact that they're going to be calling up people who have very specialized skills. My belief is that these are going to be people that are going to help tighten up the Donbass, Kherson, and Zaporozhye regions. And when you think about it, what Russia is looking to do with these referendums is they're looking to incorporate a very large territory into the Russian Federation while having a NATO proxy attacking that territory. So I imagine they're going to need a lot of people with very special skills who can support the front lines, who can support the professional soldiers that are fighting, but who can also administer these areas. I mean, think about what Russia is looking to do. I'm sure you're going to need all kinds of people with very special skills who are going to be able to help secure, administer, and incorporate these territories into the Russian administration. And of course, the 300,000 reservists. I got an email from various viewers, and they make an excellent point. They say, these are 300,000 people that are being called up, but Russia also has a professional military that they can bring into the operation. They just had the military drills in the Vostok, where they had 50,000 professional Russian soldiers participating in those drills. You also have the Air Force. The Air Force hasn't been operating at its full strength, so now Russia can mobilize their complete air power. So you also have that. So there's a lot of moving parts that are happening right now, and also the Donbass militia. Donbass militia is now going to be part of the Russian military. That means that they're going to get an upgrade in all of their equipment. These are big game-changing events that are going to happen, and it's going to take some time for all of this to flush out. But in a month or two, it's going to be a pretty I imagine it's going to be a pretty devastating force that Ukraine is going to have to deal with, and Zelensky is really in a pickle, for lack of a better word, without me cursing here. He's really up what creek, it seems, and so is all of Europe. And let me read you. Timing is everything. And Putin and the Kremlin, I believe they timed this just right. Just right. They're hitting a Europe that is sliding towards collapse. They're hitting this right at a time when the weather's going to be changing, right at a time where we're about a month and a half to 2 months away from winter. And they're hitting this at a time when you have a lot of elections and a lot of change taking place, from the midterms in the U.S. in November to elections in Bulgaria, in Italy. I believe the government in Slovakia is on shaky ground as well. And so they've timed this just right, I think, to turn up the dial here. For example, here's what an ex judge and a former member of the Bulgarian parliament said. Now remember, Bulgaria has elections, I think on October 2nd or 3rd. And I don't know how popular Georgy Markov is, but he's an ex parliament member, so he must carry some weight with the GERB party. And he was giving an interview to a magazine called Epicenter. So I saw this posted on Telegram, and then I went to double check what he said during this interview. And sure enough, he was giving an interview to Epicenter, this publication, and he said, "In winter, Europeans are waiting for cold, darkness, and bankruptcy." He also said it became, with regards to the sanctions, he said it became the most idiotic decision of the West after the Second World War. That was in reference to the sanctions the EU placed on Russia. The EU, according to Markov, is the 51st state of the USA. Therefore, it allowed such development of events. And he said during the interview, quote, "Europe was left in a completely helpless state. By the new year, it will be absolutely nothing. Russia defeated the EU without firing a shot. She allowed us to commit ritual suicide out of stupidity." Markov added, I imagine he's talking about Vander Crazy. She allowed us to commit ritual suicide out of stupidity. That would be my best guess there, is that he's talking about Vander Crazy. So that was a quote from a Bulgarian parliament member. We have some breaking news from the interview with Shoigu, which just came in to my Telegram. Maybe it was breaking a few hours earlier, but according to Shoigu, Russian forces destroyed over 7,000 Ukrainian soldiers and 970 pieces of military equipment, including 208 tanks, during the recent operations, the Kharkov and the Kherson counteroffensives over the past 3 weeks. So the number that Shoigu gives is 7,000 Ukrainian soldiers were KIA. So that's a pretty devastating number. And Shoigu seems that when he gives estimations, it seems that he's on the conservative side of things. So let's talk about the United Nations. And we have a UN meeting taking place. Lavrov is going to be in attendance. I heard that some Russian officials were denied a visa, and they were even holding back the visa to Lavrov, but it looks like he finally got it. And we're going to have a UN, I think this is a General Assembly meeting. A lot of the media is asking Biden if he's going to push for Russia to be kicked out of the Security Council, which can't happen. So Biden is like, the Bidenopolis White House is like, well, we can't really do that, so we're not going to really call for that. That seems to be their response. Germany is pushing to become a member of the Security Council, which I find kind of funny, if you want my honest opinion, because maybe the Germany of like 4 years ago, yeah, you could consider them to possibly be a candidate to enter the Security Council, but the Germany of today, no chance. Or the Germany of next year, what Germany's going to be in a year or two, no way. Not going to happen. Not going to happen. But that's what Schultz is pushing for. And trying to think if I have any other news. From what I understand, yesterday, before Putin was supposed to give his speech to the Russian people, and it got delayed, Macron was trying to call him like crazy. Like just really trying to call him up and just be like, Vladimir, please talk to me. Please talk to me. Please don't do this. Don't go ahead with the referendums. Don't do this. And they snubbed Macron. They told Macron, call us back in a couple of days. So Macron was in a panic. But, there are a lot of neocons. My thinking on this is that there are going to be a lot of neocons who are going to welcome this decision because they're going to play this up as a big mobilization event. And they're going to play this up as Russia going to war, and they're going to play this up as a way to damage the Russian economy. All indications right now coming from the Russian economy is that everything is looking really, really good, better than expected. And we have a video on this on the Duran that we did before the announcement of the partial mobilization. And the signs for the Russian economy are very, very good, which is probably another reason why the timing of this has happened, because the numbers coming from the Russian economy are very favorable. And I've said in past videos that a full mobilization would not be good for the economy. It would not be good at all. It would erase a lot of the gains that the Russian economy has made during the last 6 months. But I think the way that they're going about this, with this partial mobilization, 300,000 reservists, they're kind of phasing it in. It seems like they're doing this also in a way to minimize the impact that it could have on the Russian economy. But there's going to be a lot of forces in the collective West that are going to look to find ways to destroy confidence and trust in the Russian economy. Anyway, should we do a clown world? Why not? Why not? Let's do a clown world. Let me pull up a tweet from Trudeau here. Let me find it. Trudeau tweeted on the referendum. He said, "Canada denounces Russia's planned referendums in occupied regions of Ukraine. We will never recognize them. This is a blatant violation of international law. It is a further escalation of war, and it is unacceptable." Well, you know, these referendums are playing by the collective West's Kosovo Metohija rules. They're the ones that made the rules with regards to Kosovo, and Russia is just playing by those rules. So it's that simple with regards to the referendum. But that is Trudeau. He is commenting on the referendums, as he has been instructed to do. Trudeau is, I imagine he's back in Canada after his trip to the UK for the Queen's funeral. And of course, he had a video that went absolutely mega viral. And that was Trudeau in a hotel room singing Bohemian Rhapsody. Now, I don't know if it was before the funeral or after the funeral, but Trudeau was visibly mourning the passing of the Queen as he was belting out a Freddie Mercury classic. And Olaf Scholz, unfortunately, was not there. Olaf Scholz was, maybe he still is, from what I understand, traveling around the Middle East, hat in hand, looking for some sort of miracle to bail out the German economy. What has happened to Germany? Unbelievable. So Olaf Scholz did not make it to the funeral, but to be quite honest, these types of events are a perfect fit. They're made for the office of the president, the federal president in Germany, and that is the former foreign minister, Frank-Walter Steinmeier, who I believe was actually the foreign minister for Angela Merkel at the exact time of the Minsk Accords, of the first Donbass Ukraine conflict in 2014-15. I believe that he was the FM during that time. So he understands what's going on in Ukraine very, very well, because he was part of the Merkel administration that was a signatory, along with France, that was a signatory to the Minsk Accords that they refused to enforce, and which has taken us into this mess. But Trudeau, he was belting out Bohemian Rhapsody. And I wonder if the German president was also at that hotel lobby listening to Trudeau sing. And I imagine that Trudeau asked Mr. Steinmeier, hey, President Frank-Walter Steinmeier, how are you doing? How is Olaf doing these days? Justin, Olaf is in the Middle East. He is begging leaders of Middle East countries to give us any kind of help, any kind of money so they can save us from economic collapse. Because in the last 6 months, you failed to deliver those turbines to Russia. And now we have no gas. Nord Stream 1 is shut down. Nord Stream 2 is shut down. And our economy is collapsing. So that is where Olaf is. He is in the Middle East because of you, Trudeau. Oh, okay, Frank. Well, I understand that you may be a little upset, but, you know, I told Olaf many times there's nothing I can really do with the turbines. I'm just taking orders from Klaus and Blinken and Newland, just like you. Okay, Trudeau, well, I understand that, but just let me know. Can you just answer me one question? How many turbines are still in Canada? I really don't know. 4, 5, 7, 8? I'm not good with numbers, Frank. I can call you Frank, right? I call Olaf Olaf. I'll call you Frank. I'm not really good with numbers, but I think we got a lot. I think we got a lot of turbines, and I'm not sure, you know, what the situation is with those things. I'm just not good with mechanical, you know, engineering, big pipeline, gas stuff. You know, that stuff is it's just not me. I'm more of an artist. I like to sing. I like to dance, Frank. Come on, why don't you sing Bohemian Rhapsody with me? Oh, Trudeau, you idiot. I don't want to sing. My country is collapsing. I'm in no mood to sing. Okay, you don't want to sing Bohemian Rhapsody. How about David Bowie and Freddie Mercury, Under Pressure? Trudeau, you idiot. I don't want to sing a song about being under pressure. Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, my bad. You're probably not a Freddie Mercury Queen fan. How about REM? It's the end of the world as we know it. No. That's inappropriate. Let me think. What other song can we say? How about Billy Joel? We didn't start the fire. No. That's not good either. Fire, heat, warmth. No, we shouldn't sing that. Trudeau, you idiot. Don't you understand? I don't want to sing. I don't want to dance. I want my turbines. I just can't help you with that, Frank. I can't help you at all with that. Those turbines, it looks like they're going to be staying in Canada. Ugh. I told Angela back in 2015, just enforce those damn Minsk Accords, Angela. Just do it. Otherwise, we're going to end up in a really big mess. Oh, Frank, that's right. You know Angela. How is she doing? It's been a long time since I've spoken to her. Send her my best. As a matter of fact, I think I'll give her a call. Maybe we can meet up, drink a mocha latte, and talk some gossip about what's going on at the WEF and at the European Union. I heard, Frank, that, well, between me and you, Frank, the Finnish Prime Minister, you know, Sanna, she's going out partying and dirty dancing with rock stars. Oh, Trudeau, you really are an idiot. All right. That exchange might have happened, by the way. That might be a very realistic exchange between the German president and Justin Trudeau. Anyway, that's the video, guys. Duran.locals.com. Take care.